It's not a big deal here. The idea is you just keep experimenting and then keep putting together the code. Now you learned the basics, right? What do you need to for a script to be able to run? And then most of these echo commands, these are usable, okay? It's just for you to read here. What is happening is actually what is you're putting in the commands and the execute commands and all those. And also, anything you put in here, you could run it at the line. You could run it at the command line. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Okay, good. So I think we're almost done here if we continue on today. Let's see what else. So I started how to ping, right? Oh, more than that. Reading the script. So what we're gonna learn today is function. Function is, so we're gonna CP template of function. So, okay, functions, we're gonna learn about functions here. So what is function? Okay, it is a block of code you can write once and reuse it again and again. It's very, very simple here, okay? Once you get the concept here, you will really nail this. So, let's see here. So what happens is you start off as usual, and what you do is you have to declare a function. So how do you declare a function? So what you have to do is you have to name it something like Chicago, and then the format starts like this: open and close, open and close, parentheses. Okay, and you start with curly brackets, and in here all your code goes in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, instead of writing a big chunk of code, here I'm going to say uptime, host name, df-h. Okay, I'm going to save and exit. So if I run this function, nothing happened, right? So why nothing happened? Because this part is inactive right now. So for you to be able to make it active here, all you have to do is type Chicago here. Okay, now when the script is going to run, all this part is ignored here. But it is still active here. The moment you put this in a format like this becomes a function here. If you type Chicago and then space and then open and close parentheses, and if you type this, then it becomes a function. So I'm going to see X, and then if I run this function, it runs the code here. So I'm going to stop it for a moment here and take questions here. Do you have any questions? So this is the format, okay?
Motion detected at your back door.
Moment you type the name and the curly brackets, the parentheses, name and parentheses. It will be detected as a function. Okay. All right. Oh, we barely have anybody here. I guess they're not keeping track of time today.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah, the time change, right, today?
It look like
Okay. Okay, good. So, well,
Motion detected at your back door.
so this is a real function. Okay. And to call the function, you have to call it here.
at the end.
Yeah. So what will happen if I say Chicago one more time here? If I do it Chicago 2 times here, this function is going to run twice.
Okay.
See, it ran twice.
Hmm.
Okay, and so what you could do is you could just, if you want to make it clear here, echo, this is running twice. Okay, and then you see it here, this is running twice. Okay, so let's try to make it a little complicated here and see what happens. So in here, you could copy this block of code. and then you could make it Atlanta. Okay, and you could have many functions in your code. Okay, and then you see Atlanta here. Okay, and then let me just change this around here. Or what you could do is you could go back up here and put this simple code in there. Let's put in the read file. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this here. So if I run this, what will happen? Which code is gonna run? Looking at what you're seeing, which code do you think it will run?
Atlanta one.
Yeah, this part will be completely ignored because the function is not being called.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do function, and then now it's asking for this, since this is the part of the code, so it's asking for the file to read here. So I'm gonna put in. So it read that file.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It read that file, and then we put in a code that says to ping it. Okay. It's pretty simple here. It's not much of rocket science. Okay. Shall I move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's see here. Okay. So I'm gonna put this in there. Okay. Function. Okay. So let's see here. Yeah, let me see if I can find a picture. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. Alright, so let's move forward here. This is the simplest form of function here. So if you want, you can make it a little complex here, but let's see. There is another concept called a global function and a local function. Okay, I'll see what global and local means. You have a function, and if there is another function within that function, it's called local function. And then if this is a function and I have another function in here, it will become a local function, and this will become a global function because it's hosting the function inside itself. Okay, so let's take a look how that works. So I'm going to do CP template function, global function. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so this is an example of global function. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to say function, F-U-N-C, global. Okay, you can name whatever you want to your function, okay? And let's set up a format first. And the curly brackets. And rest of the code goes into the curly brackets now. Okay, because this is what the format as a function is. This is the format as a function. Okay. Let's go forward here. Okay. And in here, what I'm going to do is, global, this is a function. Okay, so in here, So I'm going to say in here, this is a local function. So what you could do here is you could, let's put this in there. Okay, for us to be able to read better, I'm going to do the tabs here and see what happens. Okay, this is much better, right? I didn't do anything. I just put in the tabs in here so that you could see it better.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me run this. Unexpected end of file. 10 and 31. Okay, so
Code close.
yeah, and then 31. There's no 31. So it didn't run. Why didn't it run? Because we have to call the global function here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have to type exactly the name of the function here. So like this, global, and save and exit here. So it says this is our local function here. Okay, but it's still, oh wait a minute here, why didn't it run? So you have to call this function for it to be able to run, I think. Okay? Because all this is a part of a local function. Okay, this is a local function and it's asking for the file to put in. Why is it asking for the file to be in? Because this part of code is being executed here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see, list of servers. So it did its work. Okay, so what you could do is you could have multiple functions executing in here, and then you could see the advantages how you could use this as a global function here. And let's go ahead and put this Atlanta here and see if it's going to work. I'm going to do a pound sign, and let's see if that would work. Okay. Line 31 Atlanta command not found. Okay, so the reason it's not running is
Should be A delta N.
it has to execute this function here, and after that it will execute this function. Okay, even if we run this here, it may not find Atlanta because it's inside the function there. See, it's getting hung up here. It did the local function, then we're trying to call the Atlanta again, and it's not working. So if we remove Atlanta from here, yeah, that worked. So for you to be able to call the local function, you have to run the global function before the local function runs. Okay? So local function is nothing but a function within a function, okay? This is an example of global function and local function, nothing but a function within a function. Okay, so and sky is the limit here. You could put down how many functions you ever want, okay?
Okay.
Alright, so this is just the basics here. Okay. So is it clear now how this is working?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward here. I mean, right now you probably know good about scripting here, so this is how it works. Okay, so let's see here. So I'm gonna show you a concept called functions with input parameters, okay? So we ran this function here, pretty much this is static here. So we want to give it a parameter that it will ask for the input here. Like this one here, it will ask for the input. So how are we gonna do this? Let's try, okay, cp template, input, So input parameters, message. So I have this here, so let's use this. So I'm going to say global variable. Okay, so I'm going to say username equals $1. So what will happen when this runs when I run this script, what will happen? Well, let's see here. Nothing happens. Okay, so actually what you have to do is, if you have to do an input parameter, you have to type the executed and type something like Zafar here. So let's go back up here and take a look. Simple calculation, variable example.
You give an argument, right?
Yeah, you give an argument at the end,
Mm-hmm.
like this one here. You said accept input.sh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's run this script here. Okay, so it's there. So what we have to do is we have to give an argument here. Okay, so we gave Atlanta, Georgia. So it's because the city is Atlanta and the state is Georgia. But if you look at this here, argument, it's nothing. It's just simple. City is dollar, and it won't prompt you. You just have to give it to your at the end of the execution of the file. You have to give it the argument. Okay, so let's do this here. Not this one. Let's do this. So I am opening a argument here, or I'm sorry, I open this with a variable here. Okay, so I'm gonna say. So now the function is defined here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the function age in days. So I have this script here, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna calculate the age in days, okay? So I'm gonna create a function, okay, and then I'm gonna start the curly brackets here. You could do it wherever you want here, so don't get confused. Okay, so what I'll do is, I'll say echo hello dollar username. So this is a variable. So whatever the input it gets, at the command prompt, we're going to give this. This will become username, and username becomes this. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then it says you are $1 years old. And I'm going to say echo your age in days. Then I'm going to do the math here, okay? I'm going to do backtick. And to do the math, you have to do EXPR. Okay? $1. Whatever the number he's going to give here, or it's going to go in here as a $1. Oh, hold on. Username. Okay, yeah, let's complete this here. Hold on. And then the number of days it's going to give is $. And then for multiplication, you have to type a slash and an asterisk.
365.
Yeah. I know, I'm just going up here, say, for multiply, you have to do slash and asterisk. That's what I'm pointing out. 365. Okay? Your age in days is how many days?
No, I think you are multiplying. You should divide. So it will become in the days.
No,
You are talking.
no, we'll put the years, not the days, at the prompt.
No, your age in days. In the second line, your age in days, so it should be in the divide. Because I mean the first line is the year and the second should be days. Days should become like divide, not the multiply.
No, if you put in the input 5 years, then you multiply with 365 days. Your age in days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah. 365. Yeah, you are right. Bye.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is, so this script starts here, right? The script stops here, right?
Yes.
Then the execution starts here. Okay, so we're gonna say echo, enter your age. Okay, it's gonna enter the age here. So I'm gonna say read, because we know the read function is gonna prompt you to read the age here. So it's gonna say user age, and then the function. We copy this function here, and then whatever this user age is here is gonna go in here. $user age. So what will happen is, it will go up in here, and it will calculate the day here. So let's take a look if it's gonna work.
Yes, because give you the error because you didn't call the function in the last line.
Okay. It says enter your age. Hello, you are 30 years old and your age is in days is here. It's working. Okay, say that again.
Oh, I thought you didn't call the function, but you did, right?
Right here I'm calling the function, right?
Yeah. Function.
So this part is not dependent on function here. Echo, enter your age. Okay.
Where did you declare the user age, the read, or read is another input, right?
Yeah, this part is independent from the function.
Function, okay, another input.
So the execution, this part is out of this world here. This is hidden to this here. If you don't call this part here, this part is useless. This part is useless. So now we are doing our good old function here. Echo, I'm sorry, if you put this part in here, it will come up to this and says enter your age and read age. Okay? And then what we're doing is we are using this user age, and then it goes into the function here.
Yep.
And this number goes up here. User name goes up here. $1 becomes user age. And then the user name becomes the username and then the function. So let's try to run that in. So you're supposed to type in here like this. Enter your age. Now it works perfectly. So what we could actually do is, I'm trying to demo this here, two things in here. You are putting in here as the input function because we are using this as an input function. When we are running this here, when we run this accept input, we are basing this out of on this here.
But in this case, actually, script runs top to bottom, right? Line by line.
Yeah, this one runs line by line, yeah.
And you know what? It's taking input the age. You put down on the last line. Can you show the script again? No, the script. Actually script.
Yeah, okay. Okay, here.
Yes.
Here's the username. Username is we putting when we run the script here.
If you see, I mean, you forgot the above line is taking input like enter your age first.
No, I mean what I'm trying to do is with the script you're running an input also. Because if you go back in here,
you put the echo enter your age, and they start.
Okay, here, listen, this is what is happening in this script here. If you don't run it, it will still run it, but the city will be missing and the state will be missing, right? So let me. So it's running it, but it's not showing it here. But if I give the city Atlanta and Georgia, because there are it's accepting two parameters at the command line. If you have something like this, it is expected at the command line. When you have like a $1 and $2 or whatever, it is expected at the command line. Okay, so in this script here,
And what about read?
Okay, so I put in here input function Zafar. So this part is Zafar here. Okay? This part takes and becomes Zafar, and it's throwing this part here is Zafar.
Okay.
It's going into the function here. When that part is over, and this part is getting executed here. Okay?
Output start with the equal, like enter your age.
Over here?
Yeah, when you run the script, the first line shows enter your age, right?
Yeah, the first line says enter your age.
Yeah. So, in other words, I mean, if you say a start is showing, the output is showing start with the enter your age, right?
Yeah.
And what about the above line? Is the clipboard or the memory?
So let's do 30. Let me clear this. Okay, now what do you see? This line?
No, the first input is enter your age, right?
Yeah, it's executing here. Echo enter your age.
Yeah. So what about the others above lines?
This is function. It's not going to execute until you call the function.
Oh, okay.
So if I disable this function part, it's going to just read it and do nothing.
So this script is not reading line by line, like top to bottom.
No. Unless you call the function, it's not going to read it.
Right. Yeah. That's what we were trying to ask actually. Yeah.
Okay. So it didn't do anything because the function is not getting executed. So in real words, the function is actually a command here. This part becomes a command. So when it becomes a command, it's executing this part here. All we're doing is we're just playing around with how the function is working.
Okay. Oh, I got it.
So you're gonna keep building up on this here, okay? So okay, look, one more time here, okay? So I'm gonna run this input function. Okay. This sometimes in the script you have to know how to run the script also.
Okay.
You're not just running the script here. You need to know sometimes script takes the input here. Because I demonstrated this accept input, right? If I run this, the city and state part is missing here. I have to give the city Atlanta, Georgia, as the prompt here. Because what will happen is, you will have some scripts here, you will run the script, and then you could give this script input as a long list of files here. We already did that, didn't we? You could make this script as an input script. Yeah, literally. And one maybe not. I'll take that back. Because that one is reading a file here. Input is just taking the input here. So when you type this in here, look at this here. Since you didn't give the input here, it's just blank. There is no city and there is no state here. So the moment you give the input here, it's gonna replace it. But if you give like an extra input here, it's gonna ignore the third input. So there is no third input, so it's going to simply ignore it. Why? Because it doesn't need one. Here, if you look at this, here, in here we have only $1 and $2. That's it. There is no input here. So the moment you put Atlanta here,
Yeah.
city will become
$1.
yeah. So the city will become whatever you put in at the command line, and this is what it is, and we are calling that here.
Yep.
So if you put junk here, it will become junk here, and it will display junk.
Whatever you give input, it will take input. Or argument, right?
Argument, yes. That's the right way to put it. So if you go in here, what is happening here is first this part we are executing it, this part here, because we know we are giving the name at the line.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are running this. So I put in here Anwar and age 30, and then here it's gonna run here. What it is just the manipulation you're doing it. How you manipulating stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Alright, so you good now, right? I could move forward.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna make a note here. Input is provided at the command prompt with the file execution. Okay, that should make it clear. Okay, so we already have done this here, input to execution. There you go. So let's look in here. So it is accepting, when you have something like this $1 and $2, it's accepting at a command line. Okay, so you do this. And then this is how you run it, okay? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do the same here too. Okay. Okay, so is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm going to do is another concept called nested functions, okay? There's a function inside a function here, so let's see how I'm going to do this. Okay, let me make some notes here. And so this is clear. The age comes here, and then the username from here it goes there, and cat goes in here. Okay. Username comes here, and here age 3-day user age. You are $. Okay, looks good to me. Okay, so the nested functions, what it is that it's just a global variables. you have to use the variables here. I'll show you how this works here, okay? So, CP template, nested, where is it? Okay, so I'm gonna say this is a demo of nested function. Okay, nested function and global variable. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say data equals $1. Okay, this is at the global level. And let's write a function here. I'm going to write function type, and this is what starts here. The moment you do this bracket here, the function is detected. Okay, so I'm going to do curly brackets, and the code goes in here. Okay, so then in here I'm going to say how do I do this here? Okay, so I already have this function here. Let me just type this up and we'll see how it goes. So this is the function, and then I'm going to declare when I have something like this here, data equals $, what does this mean? I'm making this up, right? What does this mean?
I mean, you're putting variables data is equal to $1.
Yeah, what is it technically called?
Taking input.
Yeah, but it's variable.
Variable, yeah.
Yeah, so you make up anything you want. So this is a variable here, so I'm gonna start doing here. Let's do tall building, and then we're gonna write some function here. $data. Okay, small building equals $data. Okay. So this is the function here, and I'm going to start another function in here. Okay. This is going to be a nested function. So I'm going to give the name function tall. Okay, and function starts here. Curly brackets. Okay. In curly brackets, the function is starting. Says echo I'll say example of tall building. Okay, if is this is where it's going to be here. Okay, and now let me copy this here. Example of, we'll make it a small building. Okay, actually let me delete this here. Okay, and then let me see. And then within a function, you could have another function here, okay? So I'm going to say fun, small, and then you have curly brackets. And here you could get to type in Control Z. Okay, there's nothing complicated here. Okay, so now the global function starts here and ends here. Okay, and then within the global function, these are the local functions 1, 2, and then this variables are only good if the function is executed here. So if you would call it here, it's not going to do anything for it. Okay, so let's see how the script works. So I'm going to say echo.
You have to call.
Say that again.
Where?
Huh?
I thought you finished the function, so you have to call the function on that line.
Yeah. I'm going to call the function. So I'm going to say echo determining tall for small building. Okay. Then it says echo. Then you give a space there. And I'm going to write the if function here. If $data equal to Sears. Okay. If the data matches Sears, then what is going to do? Then function type. Okay, so let me go up here. Okay? It's going to execute that. In here, it will run this function, and in that function, it's going to run only this function. Okay, else you do the same thing, and you just do this here. That's it. You close the if statement here. So let's run this here nested. Then I type here example of a small building. Oh, okay. So let's see here. I have to type in Sears as well. So I have to type it in capital letters here. Okay, so what happened here is it is determining okay. So we have this function here. Okay, within the function we have two functions. One is function small and function tall. Okay. So then when the data comes in here at the prompt, we put in Sears here, and then it goes through. Okay, so the script reads this, but it's not going to execute anything up until here. Okay, so it's going to determining tall or small building. This part is useless here. It's just for humans to be able to readable. But what is happening here is gonna do the calculation here. The input data, which is coming from here, and which is coming from here, which is coming from the command line. So it goes from here, it goes here, from there it goes here. From there it goes in here, and it's gonna do the calculation here. Okay, if data is equal to CS, then run this function. So it's gonna run the entire function, and out of that function it's gonna run only this function. So it's gonna run. So you have to have. If you don't run this function and if you only run this function, it's not gonna work. We already saw that earlier. Okay. Then if it doesn't match CS, then it will determine that it's a small bit. So it will execute this. Small building data is going to execute this. Okay? So why, okay, over here it says the data also, small building is equal to data. Why is it coming down here as data? Over here, it will read the data here and it's going to come in here. And it's actually telling you the name of the building here. So I'm going to type Burj. And it says example of a small building Burj because it's not matching CS in here. If it matches CS, it's going to come for the tall building. If it's something else, it's going to go for a small building.
What about the dollar tall building and a dollar small building? Did you declare over here on the top the tall building and the small building?
It's coming from here, so it's just taking the name here.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Whatever you name here, it's just carrying over the name here.
Yeah.
You could very good. Very good. Now you could see or you could analyze it. You could put a simple data here and then recycle that data so many times to match the script or to match the execution.
Well, Zafar, just quick question, please.
Yeah.
When we give this some value, when...
break. I'll go back in 2 minutes.
Sure.
Let me stop recording.
Yes, Zafar, but there is a question here.
Yeah.
We have put it here, when we say the data is equal to dollar value, we give the variable some variable. Why we have the tall building and the small building as the same thing as the data?
So when we put here, it will,
Right.
over here is saying example of a tall building and it's putting stairs here.
But if we just put a, for example, building as the data and we replace this tall building and small building with the only building.
Whatever you put in here, it will replace that.
Okay. Thank you. Jazakallah.
So what we could do here is maybe, so if the data is matching only stairs, it will telling you it's a building here. So if you don't put like, if you put like a building here, Atlanta. So it says here like example of small building in Atlanta here. So what it's doing is, whatever you're putting in here at the command prompt is replacing this here. $1 becomes, remember, $1 is always, it's a built-in, here it's expected to take this from the command line. If you put down read, then it will wait for you. You could also do read. You could definitely do read here. Matter of fact, let's do read here. Since you guys like read so much. Let's do over here read data. Okay, so then we could get rid of this. And then up here we could say echo enter to determine if the building is tallest. If the building is tall. Okay? It's just a junk here, don't worry about that. Okay, we'll go back in here. Now I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna clear this. Okay, it says enter a building to determine. I'm gonna say Atlanta. And it says determining taller building, the example of small building is Atlanta. So now if I put in here, enter to determine if the building is tall, I type stairs. And it says determining tall, the example of tall building is stairs. Don't worry about all this here. All you are worried about is how the function is executing here. So we have two functions. We could have many functions within the functions here, okay? So now, for you to be able to execute a function, you have to type it down here. After the function is over, this is where the real script starts. This is the real script. Outside the curly bracket, if you don't have this here, it's not gonna run anything. It will be useless. So we are asking the script to call the function, and within that function call this function here if it matches here. Okay? So it's going to run that. If it doesn't match, then it will run this part. It's going to run the whole script, but in there it's not going to run this. It will run the nested function. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir. To me, it's clear.
Okay. Okay, so
Loop within the loop is called nested loop as well.
a loop within the loop is called what?
Nested loop, the same thing, the nested function within the function. I heard the similar terminology somewhere.
Yeah, you could do a lot of things here, buddy. I'm telling you, the more you do it, with this, you could build down here, okay? So we could take a complicated, extensive script here, okay? Okay, okay, let's see here. Shell programming, command scripting style. Okay, look at this here in script. It's kind of look daunting here, but it's not. All you have to do is just sit down and take a look and see what is happening in the script here, okay? So let's see here, call the script with at least 10 parameters, for example. So this is what the input script will look like. When you're running the script, it's asking for 10 inputs. The one I've been explaining you. Sometimes you have to run the script and then give the inputs here. And then it's echo, this is the name of the script, and it says $0 slash. And then it has this here. So what is it? Add this to current directory. Oh, okay. So it's adding it to the current directory. Strips out the path name info, base name. Okay, and echo if. This is a if statement here, okay? You could understand this. If minus n. If not, minus n. Let's see what we know about minus n. Okay, so minus. Okay, so what is it? If minus n dollar equal to tested variable is quoted, then echo parameter pound $1 and dollar means go to escape here. So look at this here, and then you could definitely create some complex script here, but you shouldn't be discouraged from what you have in here. Okay, looking in here, all these examples you got so far, you should be able to pick up any script and be able to determine what is happening here. If you spend some time, you will know what is happening. Using a shift, name this script something like shift.sh and invoke it with some parameters, for example. Okay, and then so what you should do is once we are done with the scripting here, all these things I've showed you, these are very, very good examples. These are very, very basic. And then at the same time, once you have all this graphs, and one thing is don't remember anything. You should always have to go in there and find out what you want to do and how one of the scripts will help you. Okay. So before we end today, I'm gonna show you the nested is already here, right? So. Okay, and this is the straightforward here. Nested functions, okay, and the function determining tone function here. But you guys have got the idea, right? What is a nested function, a function within a function? And for that, you have to call this function, and then after that, you have to call the nested function, or else it won't run.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last concept in scripting here is exit codes. Okay, so when the script fails, you could put in some exit codes here, and then you could determine why the script is failing. Okay.
Okay.
It's called return code and exit code. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna do so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna say this is demo for exit and return code. Okay, and then what you could do is you could type yes equals 0. These are the variables I'm declaring. No equals 1. First equals $1. Second equals $2. Third equals $3. Alright, don't get scared here. These are yes, no, and these are the exit codes here, okay? I'll show you when we complete the script here, you will know. So let's see here, I'm going to write a function. Okay, I'm going to write a function. and say function check parameters. Okay, and then I'm gonna start the function here. Okay, in the function I'm gonna say if, then I'm gonna do this here. Okay, so now there is something new I'm gonna introduce. So what it's gonna do here is I'm gonna do the exclamation here. What is exclamation is gonna be? Is gonna look for the parameters here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you will see how it happens here. If minus z, okay, is $third, HIRD, right? Then, okay, then we got echo, we got 3 inputs. Okay, and then you have to type the return code. This is built in. Return is built in. $yes. Else, echo, return is built in. Managed to check the code. Okay. Now what we could do is else. I'm gonna say we did not get 3 inputs. And then I'm gonna say return $no. Okay. Where is this yes coming from here? Yes is coming from here, and no is coming from here. And then $third is coming from here. Okay. Now I'm gonna close the if function. Okay, so the function ends here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the evaluation. So I'm gonna say executing the function now. So what is the name of the function? Okay. So the function is executed here. And then the third line, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the return. So I'm gonna declare another value here, return. I'm sorry, I'm gonna declare another variable here. Equals dollar and a question mark. Okay, so found, did we get 3 inputs? If dollar return minus equal to dollar yes. Okay, then I'm going to say echo and they are echo input 1 is dollar first. Okay, so I'm going to say dollar first, second, and third. Okay? Don't get daunted with only this echo command, it's nothing. And then else, echo, this is how we run script. Echo, what is the name of the script we gave? Return code, right? Exit code. SH, input 1, input 2, input 3. Exit 1. Okay, look, notice this here, exit 1. I'll explain it once we run this here. Okay, it says we did not get 3 inputs. Okay, I think I need to put
Any check input was 2 line. Or, yeah, I don't think so. But
okay, so it's working here. Okay, I'm not sure if I had showed you here. If you want to get the exit code, every time a command is ran, there is an exit code here, okay? So let me clear this. I type clear is a command, I type exit $1. What it does is, it says give you 0. Okay? And if I type like PWD, and if I type exit $1, there is no error. When you type like echo $question mark, that means the previous command, if you get this 0 here, the previous command there is no error here. So if I'm going to type garbage here, it went back up here and it gives the error message. And the system is giving you exit code 127. So now you can Google exit code 127. Oh, 127 right there. A non-zero exit status indicates a failure. If it's not zero, anything other than zero, that means it's a failure. If a command is not found, child processes create and execute. Okay. Exit code 127 is a command not found. And we did run the garbage command here and command is not found. So command not found is the exit code here. Now in our script, to tell ourselves, we put down the exit code here, right? Where is the exit code here? We put down an exit code 1 here. That means this part it didn't run. The error is here. The error is within this part. Okay. So echo dollar question is checks the exit code here because we ran this, it ran without any problem. Okay. So that means we have a built-in exit code here that we did not get 3 inputs. This is how we ran the script here. Let's get the exit code here. It's giving the exit code 1. Why is it giving the exit code 1 here? Because we put in exit 1 here. That means this is telling, we told ourselves if it gives exit code 1 here, that means this part of script didn't run. It doesn't have to be 1 here, it could be anything. Unless it's not built in. Okay, let's do exit code 232. Matter of fact, let me see if you could even give it a name here. Okay, so it just takes only the numbers, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, so now we have something in here. This is how you're supposed to be running it. So you run the script here. Let's run Chicago, Atlanta, New York. Okay. We got these inputs here, return no, line number 19. There you go. So the whole thing is, you're just worried about this here. You're putting in the exit code here, and on the top, you have to determine what is this going to be.
Brother Zafar, what is the reason it did not show the 232 in this case that we just ran?
Because it ran successfully.
Got it.
Okay, it ran successfully. Then you type echo $? So it's 0. There is no exit code.
Jazakallah, thank you.
Okay, that's the end of scripting. I gave you all the small tidbits, and next week, for one day, we're going to touch on Ansible, and after that, the class is over.
And how about the Amazon thing that you mentioned something we're going to do the Amazon thing?
Yeah.
AWS?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that 2 days. Amazon is a big ocean, and I'm going to work on everything. I'm going to show you how to create easy tools and manage those and connect them remotely. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 days. We have 10 hours left. So we could take care of that.
Jazakallah.
So there is not is there anything like in Linux, like big backups or synchronization, migration, things like that? Or
and I've told you one time here that if somebody is asking you to do all those here, it's probably a small place. And I would not recommend you to take this job here. But if you're going to end up being in a big place, all those things are being managed by different groups, backup team and all that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if if the job description says you have to do the backup, this and that, first of all, most of those job description is unrealistic. They expect, there are 2 things going on. One is a technical recruiter, and there is also a functional recruiter. They have no idea what the job requirements is. They just put it out there from the HR perspective. So if you look at the job description, that doesn't mean you shouldn't apply the job. A lot of jobs have like too many inputs in there. But once you present your resume with the Linux and all that, you will get a call. And there you would explain whatever you have not done here, you would explain that all those things are done by a different group. And most of the time they know all those backups and all those things are done by different groups here. But what definitely use the DD command to do local backup.
Oh, okay.
You remember DD command?
I remember the DD command.
Yeah, so we have done this. We have done scripting. We're going to do a little bit of Ansible and a little bit of AWS. That should be good enough for the job.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to end now, and then we'll catch up next week.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.